There you go.
'Cause I am going to go off today.
It was an interesting evening last night. I wanted to go to bed early.
Yeah?
Got all nice and comfy at about 10 o'clock.
You got all comfy?
Yeah, I tell you what, don't pick up your phone. Sometimes
well, I have
it's not
to,
smart.
Jay. When I fall asleep on the couch and I pick it up and I look and I see there's tweets and people liking tweets that Jay Foster said.
I'm usually very good about just putting the phone away about the time when the kids go to bed.
Yeah.
All right? I don't know why last night, I don't know what I was watching on television, decided to look at my phone and then started to see the story unravel of Carson King. So let's get everybody up to speed.
We know not up to speed.
We know the story about Carson King. If you're not up to speed, he's the young man that was on game day. He's the young man that had a sign on game day that said, replenish Busch Light supply. Here's my Venmo. In turn, people started putting money in there. Once he got to $6,000, he said, I only need enough for a case of beer. I'm going to donate the rest to the University of Iowa Steed Family Hospital.
It was a joke. He did the sign as a joke.
Yeah, the sign. Yeah. It was like his mom was like, "Oh, that's going to make me proud," but it turned into a good thing. He didn't have to do it.
Right.
And then Busch Lights got behind him, said, "Hey, whatever you guys raised through the month of September, because he said he's going to keep it up through September, we'll match it." And Venmo did the same. Great. He's been on multiple media. He's been out to New York. He's riding this wave. He understands it's just 15 minutes. Very humble throughout the whole thing. Correct. Very humble. And Des Moines Register's been doing stories, and eventually they're going to do it. They did another story, and someone did some digging into some past social media posts they made on Twitter, where he happened to retweet or quote, right? Quote to Tosh.0, right?
Yeah.
And they're in the racist in nature. Let's get you up to speed from yesterday. The Des Moines Register goes down and they find these tweets. A certain a reporter does.
Yeah.
At some point, as the story is going into publication, it's going out today, they let Carson know that, hey, at the end of it, at the end of our story, we are pointing out that you have a couple questionable tweets. He says, fine. He goes, you know what? I'm going to be at the forefront of this. I'm going to have a press conference. He holds a press conference with KCCI. He apologizes for his tweets. He says, listen, I was 16 years old. I wrote something really, really dumb. But case in point, I also wrote something about ignorance and how it's, basically to sum up what he wrote was ignorance, and it's very true, is not inherited. It is a learned thing.
Right.
It is not inherited. People are not born that way. And he wrote something to that extent. He points to that. He's like, this is the person I am. A friend of the show who's been on here, by Cody Hills, the guy who does the Iowa Sim. Correct. He says, I am not concerned about the boy that Carson King was when he was 16. I'm more concerned of the man that Carson King is now at 24.
Correct.
So that's what blows up. Everybody's like, whoa, wait a minute. Busch Light, because Busch Light has now cut off ties with him. That's the story as of last night. We all know different, and we'll get to there. This is where it goes crazy. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Blows up a little bit. And we're going to be talking about
atomic.
This. We will be going in and out of this topic for the next 2 hours. We're going to have Lucy Rodin on. She's from the University of Iowa. If you remember her, she's the one that made the video that went up to Ames. We had her on 2 weeks ago. She is a communications mass media student at the University of Iowa. We're going to talk to her about this, and we're going to talk to her about Bandgate, which I've had it up to my eyeballs over Bandgate. I'm more fired up about Bandgate than I think I am.
Well, Bandgate, I mean, it's on ESPN. I mean, it's on they're talking about it on Levitar.
Maybe we should have a ban of Babygate. Block them all off.
So we'll talk to her. Bobby Metcalf from the Quad City Times.
Babygates are very effective. By the way.
Tom Kakert will be in the second hour from Hawkeye Report. So we kind of have it from all areas, all right? University of Iowa media, what they're dealing with up there, what she deals with, and how they teach this stuff in school. Same thing with Bobby. Where do you dig in? Why is it 8 years of tweets? Is that okay? But yet, and we'll get into this, the reporter himself has some questionable, and when I say some, I don't want your eyes to roll back so hard that you need to see a chiropractor. He has some tweets that
I'm going to go through as many as I can of his tweets. And his name, we're not going to call him some reporter. We're going to say his name.
Okay.
I want his name synonymous. Is that the correct word? Because I'm dumb. Sorry, Aaron Calvin. I'm not as dumb as you, though. All right. I want his name synonymous.
Synonymous.
I can't even say the word.
You're fine.
Good Lord. With what it's like to be an a-hole, a giant liberal a-hole. And that's what you are, Aaron Calvin. I can see through everything in your body what you are and what kind of piece of crap you are. All right, this one right here, because he doesn't agree with the Mackie Sailor, it's a place that helps kids out, ages 8 to 13 years old. He goes to @Mackie on his Twitter feed, Jay, back in 2012. Can I be a guest instructor at your theater camp teaching the kids how to abuse substances and turn tricks?
Ooh.
Oh, you're real funny, Aaron. Let's go to another one Aaron did. I want to grow up and read sex scenes to high schoolers.
What?
Yes, that's one of his tweets, Jay. Those are just two. Those are just two.
Those are just two.
I mean, those are just two. That doesn't account the anti-Semitic tweet he sent out, telling someone he was going to teach them how to be a New York Jew.
Oh boy!
Of all things,
word for word.
Used the N-word.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not even going to repeat. I'm not going to repeat what he said. He used it in a way that, as I first read his tweets, I was wondering if this man was African American. Oh no. No. Right. and then goes on. I believe there's some homophobic slurs.
Just things that he would like use it in a way like emo is for gays.
Yeah.
It just little. There'd be things like.
This is a guy. This is
saying the phrase "that's gay" in general is not acceptable.
It is. It really isn't. And I'm sorry. I mean, we
right. And I know we all grew up in different times.
Yes, thank you. Thank you very much.
When I was a kid, it didn't mean a slur, but yes, it is.
But you got older.
But you got older. And you understand. You don't say that.
Even though you say something like that, you start to eliminate it from your vocabulary because as you are a person learning, you understand that that is not a proper substitute for the word stupid.
Correct.
All right.
Which,
so yes,
a proper substitute now for the word stupid is Aaron Calvin.
Okay. Well, there you go. You
can do that. An Aaron Calvin. All right. So this guy. And then now it just gets me into the whole thing that I can see through you too, Des Moines Register. You're a liberal rag bag, if you will, of where I'm going to get of what society is and why people don't trust the media. It's because everybody sees through what you're going to do. You put on there, you lie and say that we did a routine background check, an 8-year background check. You couldn't do one on your, can I say G-damn? Whatever, your damn employee. I mean, how stupid does that sound to you?
Okay, do you want to?
If you're in charge of the register right now, who wants to buy that paper?
Okay, I'm going to tell you something. All right, like I said, 2 hours of doing this, and eventually I come down from this anger or whatever. And I honestly, I don't think I've ever retweeted or liked as many tweets or posts as I did last night.
I know.
But I don't usually get all.
Dude,
over
I was
that.
just on it.
I don't usually get all into it, and I know I can tell where I'm turning. Where I'm like, all right, I'm the guy who doesn't like the mob mentality. So right away, it's the ban Bush, ban Bush, and that's fine. If you don't want to drink it, don't drink it. That's not the thing. I was never like, oh my goodness, I'll never do this again, or we should, 7G is a sponsor of ours. We should we're not cutting ties with 7G because of it, not one bit. And people saying like, oh, you should pull it from. People saying that they'll pull it from their bar owners, like. No, you're not. Because guess what? 48 hours ago, Bill Bush latte was hilarious. Now it's not. Now it's a Bush latte.
Matt, I had my Bush latte shirt ironed for today's show.
Bush latte.
All right, one thing to defend Bush, they are still donating the money to the kids.
They came back and
$350,000.
They've just cut ties.
$350,000.
No, they're going all the way.
They're going all the way. They've still cut ties with Carson.
$350,000 plus to the end of the month.
They've cut ties with Carson just because they don't want to be associated with anything negative. All right, that we can go to another. That's a whole another part of this argument. But my argument is that people like the Des Moines Register and the people that work for the Des Moines Register have an agenda.
Okay,
and their agenda is consistently. And don't tell me that I'm overreacting. I am not some far right-wing conservative. Jay, you know what I am. I'm a middle-of-the-road Republican. That's fine, Jay. You're middle of the road, pretty much down the middle on everything. And we talk, and I bounce them back and forth on things. I'm not socially one way or the other, okay? If you're trying to tell me that they don't, and everything they do, print and say, has a far left-leaning characteristics, and consistently, the people down to the people they hire, down to the things he tweets and retweets, other than his racial and homophobic and everything wrong with him. I mean, everything about him is far left. This tolerant left that tells us, Jay, if we don't agree with their climate change issue, which you and I don't, we don't agree with their scare tactics. You can call it what you want. It was global warming. It was this, whatever. Now it's climate change. Now we're climate deniers because we don't agree with the craziness of what they do. Like, these people will turn around. Oh, and by the way, if I even say I'm a Republican right now, that newspaper would say, hey, some Nazi on AM 1170. That's what they'll call me.
Yep.
Okay, what do you say to you, Des Moines Register? Get two lips pucker and kiss my hairy butt. Okay, all right? I don't have any time for you. I don't have any time for people that are on this agenda. I don't come on this damn radio show with an agenda to push everybody to the right.
No.
So don't have your agenda when you're on your paper, and don't hire this crappy kid with this smarmy little face. Oh my!
What can we do? What the thing is this? These are when I get confused.
Break somebody.
When I get confused, obviously I want to ask a lot of questions, and I want to know what's going on. Here's what's not making sense. Keith Murphy on Twitter, who has been following Carson King from the very beginning, great guy, great follow, great writer, everything else. Okay. The Des Moines Register's timeline does not add up.
Exactly, they're liars, Jay. They have an agenda.
They make a statement. They sent out last night that says, hey, this is not, when we put things to publication, we do not do this. It's not easy to do. We have meetings on how to do it and whatnot. We let Carson know that it was going to be on there, that we had to add that at the end. It's a routine background check is what they said.
At the end.
But here was the problem. Carson's press conference was at 7 o'clock.
Yeah.
Carson, and they say in their letter that it was Busch Light's idea, because the story was in publication at the time. This was Busch Light's idea to cut ties with Carson because of the press conference. It's not true. Carson first got word from Busch Light at 2:15. Yes, roughly sometime after that.
This timeline is very important.
Roughly sometime after that, the website with the T-shirts of Carson King's likeness is now off. It's no longer, you can no longer buy the shirts. 7 o'clock is the press conference. So it's Busch Light didn't get this press conference and go, whoa, hey, we got to do something. Busch Light got called by somebody and said, do you have a statement to make about these tweets? And their reaction was, well, we got to figure something out. And they got a hold of Carson King and said, we got to put the brakes on this for a second because of these tweets. Somebody got a hold of Des Moines Register. Their timeline isn't making sense to me. And that is fine. If anybody out there can call in and tell me different, or they can say on the Harrington's Facebook comment thread where I'm wrong, that's fine too. I'm okay with being wrong. Right now, this is what I know. This is what I've been told. And Keith Murphy is a very credible reporter. And I know.
Who's he right for?
Last I saw the Athletic, but I don't know if that was it.
Jay, I'm going to draw maybe a dangerous correlation here.
Okay.
But this smells and stinks an awful lot like Barb.
And I will say on Facebook, on posts that I had, friend of the show, Matt Schmidt, Ellis' father, he posted on there as a lot like Barb. And I said it is very much like Barb. This
is dangerous, man. I mean, this is crazy, this world that we live in. I mean, and then I'm on here, and he's the guy on his tweets that's Aaron Calvin, the stupid person. We'll call everybody that's stupid and Aaron Calvin. He's on there retweeting an article about somebody bashing the whole thing with Dave Chappelle.
Okay.
You know, basically Chappelle was just going out, basically going after people, saying you guys are crazy with your cancel, your cancel politics or whatever they're calling it now, cancel culture.
Yeah, cancel culture.
Cancel culture. Boy, yes. That's a tongue twister. Anyway, he's saying you're digging up stuff from the past, and that's what they did to this kid. And he, before he ever did anything, he has that article on there about her. It's ridiculous. I don't understand. What's the point, Jay? What was the point?
The guys down the hall at 97X, he brings up a point that we can't hold this reporter's feet to the fire and then also forgive Carson on it. But the thing is,
no one's forgiving Carson. I'm not trying to hold this guy's feet. Carson came out and did what he should have done.
The reporter did his job, supposedly. It's more than the Des Moines Register. 8 years is insane. 8 years of tweets. I mean, legitimately, 8 years. 35 years old. That would be me 8 years ago.
Let me ask you.
I will tell you this.
Let me ask you this. Let me just throw this out there because maybe this is just crazy by me, but okay.
Yeah.
You have to be how old to drink in this country?
21.
You have to be how old to vote in this country?
18.
Exactly. And you got the Democrats trying to lower that to 16. Okay? You see why? Because you got influential minds that don't speak correctly.
Oh,
all right?
100%.
Here's the deal. Twitter, Facebook, all of it. You should have to be 21. If you can't drink a beer, this stuff is just as dangerous, Jay.
Yeah,
it's ruining
true.
lives, man.
That's true.
It is. Are you kidding me right now? I mean, no one's dead, but it's still ruining lives. Aaron Calvin's life is ruined because of this.
It really, really is. I mean, that's what I'm saying. I'm not for mob mentality.
I'm mad at the kid. Maybe I take back what I say, and I don't care. Whatever you maybe, but it's stupid. It is stupid. Everything he did.
You got it. The thing is,
I mean, but to go on and do what he did with those kind of tweets in his thread,
it's crazy.
I mean, come on.
I would never.
In those threads, I'm willing to bet Mr. Calvin didn't do those when he was over 21.
I don't think I honestly don't think I've ever written something like that I've taken back. But if it's there, and
because social media started when we were adults and we didn't jump on it.
That's exactly true. Social media started with adults, and
I might jump on there and I'll jump over
ago.
that Keith Davis guy yesterday for being mean to Emily again.
Yeah,
and I'll talk about the size of his penis and stuff like that. That's fine. Hold me accountable for that. I don't care.
We realize, so you know what the difference is, and I'm sorry, and again, this isn't too much age different, but we also were told that our opinion doesn't really mean that much by our parents, and we believed it.
No, do you know what your parents told you when you were a kid? I guarantee they did, because I know mine did.
Well, speak when spoken to.
No, kids are to be seen and not heard.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the deal. If the adults were in a room and you walked in the room and interrupted them, all right, kids are to be seen and not heard. Go play. Get on.
Mine was you'll never have a calculator in your pocket the rest of your life.
Okay. Whatever that means.
They were wrong on that too, weren't they?
It means he had to learn math. So, no,
I'm just saying. But here's the deal.
No, it's that. But that point is very true. It takes it takes a lot. It's a different mindset of like.
But think about this.
My opinion isn't that important.
There's a bullying culture now, and this is why it's so bad, Serge. I know you're over there typing, but I want you.
I got you.
Following me here. You have today now, parents are letting their kids have their phones and get on all these different social media apps, okay? One, if you start getting bullied at school, back in the old days, man, you just went home. Everything was fine. Mom's dad there. Tell them, so-and-so was being a jerk to me, whatever. No, now you can't escape it because it's all over your social media. It's all over this. It's all over that. We need to put an age limit on this crap.
Right.
I don't care if I'm the first one to say it. I don't know if I'm the last one to say it. It has to be done. My kid, I told Amy this morning, there's no damn way she's going to be on anything until she's 18 years old. And I don't care. She might hate me the rest of her life for it, but she's going to thank me in the end.
And hopefully by the time she's that age or getting to that age,
yeah.
hopefully they have maybe a...
No, but we probably won't because these politicians are more worried about someone out there saying that their 3-year-old can identify their gender. Right. My 3-year-old wants to be a unicorn, for Christ's sakes.
Okay,
all right? You can't tell me that. We have so many crappy things out there in this world, and I just want to
Couple things before we go to break. One, Travis said on the Harrington's Facebook comment thread that he heard that Carson King was supposed to be an honorary captain. Wondered if that was true and if that's still going on. So if someone can find that out for us, let us know. I did also read from Keith Murphy on Twitter. Keokuk is invited Carson King to come down and be the a grand marshal for the parade for their kickoff for Oktoberfest. So they said he's an Iowa. He's an Iowan, and we stand behind each other. You know, right or wrong or whatever else. So there's other things that's going out there. I just wanted to add some light to it.
I think Carson was sincere in his apology. He knows what was said on there was wrong. He said, I don't even remember saying it. It's not me. It's not who I am.
Yes,
I mean, and
we this happened. Here's the deal. Go through your timeline. If you are a Division I athlete do it now. Every year now we go through this.
No, just delete the app.
There you
Everybody
go.
just get off of this crap. They're just out there in California just laughing at you in Silicon Valley. They think it's great. You guys download every neat thing that they throw up there. So you can sit out there and collect money and laugh.
Let's
get rid of their crap.
Take a quick break. We'll be back. We'll talk about this, and we'll call Lucy Rodin at the University of Iowa.
My Lord. I'm gonna blow up today.
Good for you.
Anyway, I love pizza, though, and if you're out there and you love some pizza as well. Make sure you get a hold of Van's Pizza and More. 563-232-1396. They have so many awesome deals, you guys. Yesterday was 2 medium, 2 toppings pizzas. I know for a fact they were very busy yesterday. The
Wash
guys.
it down with a nice cold cherry bomb blonde.
There you go. Or today, $1 off those awesome Van's wings or baked pastas. Thursdays, $12.99, any large, no half and half. So please call Van's Pizza. Remember, it's carry out or call in. Sorry, it's carry out or delivery. You can have it hot and ready within 10 minutes or delivered to your home. Delivery area is limited. Once again, that number is 563-232-1396. Van's Pizza and More, 5023 Competition Drive in Bettendorf.
Hey, this is Dorf with Dancing with the QC Stars. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us for Local.
ESPN 1170 AM.
Online sports betting is here with EliteSportsbook.com. If you are an active Rhythm City Casino Resort Club member, go to EliteSportsbook.com now and follow the prompts to start betting. Not a Resort Club member? Visit Rhythm City to join today. Bet with Elite Sportsbook at Rhythm City Casino Resort or online now. More ways to get in the game with EliteSportsbook.com and Rhythm City Casino Resort. Must be 21. Gambling a problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
If you're running a business, how much should you invest in retaining your employees? First Midwest Bank has ideas. In today's tight labor market, keeping your employees is more important than ever. A First Midwest banker can help you determine what type of 401k plan to offer. At First Midwest Bank, they're not just bankers, but expert financial advisors. Talk to one today or visit wehaveideas.firstmidwest.com.
So you're what they call an industrial athlete, but this ain't no gym. You're working hard. You got the right tools to get the job done? Would you play football and roller skates? I don't think so. So if your gear is beat up, tore up, all around mucked up, come on in and boot up at Quad City Safety, 5311 Tremont Avenue, Davenport. Or check us out at quadcitysafety.com.
Oh, excuse me?
Yes?
Is your apartment empty?
No, all my stuff's there.
Like what?
My big screen TV, computer, iPod, etc.
Are you sure?
I think so.
Because your landlord's property insurance doesn't cover those things from fire, vandalism, and theft.
Oh.
But if you had renter's insurance, they'd be covered.
I gotta go back home. I think I left my oven on or something.
Protect your possessions with renter's insurance. Contact Jorgensen Insurance in the Quad Cities. Online at jorgenseninsurance.com.
The best dollar-for-dollar pre-owned value in the Quad Cities. It's yours at the McGrath Used Car Superstore of Davenport. On the phone, Gavin McGrath.
You've heard football teams called a powerhouse. That's the McGrath Used Car Superstore. Unbeatable value.
Take it away, Coach.
You start with selection and savings. Over 2,500 quality pre-owned vehicles. Payments from $167 a month. Shop the Quad Cities' best selection of certified used trucks from $10,988.
The experts say it's the best used truck buy you can make.
Great lineup, great value. Pre-owned Silverados, Sierras, Rams, F-150s. Certified used trucks from $10,988.
The McGrath Used Car Superstore of Davenport makes it easy to trade.
We trade for anything, regardless of mileage or age. And you're going to get top dollar. But no firearms or spouses, please.
But what about someone who's fumbled their credit?
All credit applications accepted. Nobody works harder than our credit team to help get you approved.
Unbeatable. The McGrath Used Car Superstore of Davenport, 4618 North Brady Street. Log on McGrathAuto.com.
Every touchdown and turnover. Your home of the Chicago Bears is the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
And we're back, Quad Cities. This is Don't Hassle Us or Local here in the Hassle Castle. Brought to you by Dunright and Dish on AM 1170.
Yeah, some scores brought to you by Harrington's Pub from
breaking news,
yesterday.
Jay.
Yeah, what's up, buddy?
Cubs suck.
7 in a row. They've lost 7 in a row. They've got to win every single game from here on out, and they've got their backs against the wall. Cleveland Indians beat the White Sox 11-0 last night. The Twins beat the Tigers 4-2. The St. Louis Cardinals and Diamondbacks made it 19 innings last night. The Diamondbacks won that game. It was the longest game in Chase Field history, both in terms of innings and in time. 6 hours and 53 minutes. It is the 8th longest game in the history of the Major League since 1908. The 8th longest game. Brewers beat the Reds 4-2. Royals bested the Braves 9-6, and like we said, 9-2 losers, the Cubs to the Pirates. Cubs have lost 7 in a row, but they get to play today. John Lester's on the mound. That game will be at 6 o'clock. 5:40, Twins and the Tigers. This afternoon, the Cardinals will be playing Arizona. They didn't get much sleep, though. They will start at 2:40. Brewers and the Reds at 5:40.
Why, were they paying attention to this stupid story, too?
No, they went 19 innings in 6 hours and 53 minutes.
Okay.
It was in the sports highlights that I just read.
Hey, Jay.
Hey.
Sorry about Bryce Harper.
Oh, what, that he's not in the playoffs?
Yeah.
That's all right.
Okay.
Neither is Mike Trout.
Yeah, thanks. That's what I was going to say. All right, we're going to give Lucy Rodin a call from the University of Iowa and check in with her. We talked to her roughly 2 weeks ago, and let's just see how this is. Let's see what's going on in her neck of the woods, what they're teaching there up at the university. So this is always the fun time, the waiting. Ah, there we go. Gonna Metcalf me.
Hey. I got some news, but we'll wait till she answers the phone.
It's all right.
Hello?
Hi, is this Lucy?
Yes.
Lucy, it's Jay from ESPN 1170 AM here in the Quad Cities. You're on the air with Serge and myself and T-Roy. How are you?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. We talked to you a couple weeks ago after you went up to Ames, shot your video, and we tried to talk to you last week just to see how your time was up in Ames. But really, I would say since that game, there's been some interesting stories going on.
Yeah, no, for sure. The game definitely did not end when the game actually ended. The Iowa marching band, it was announced on Monday following the game that there were some abuse allegations, and the University of Iowa released a super vague press release about it, which Iowa State responded by saying they didn't know anything about it. And then it kind of faded a little bit. And then Iowa said they closed their investigation. And all the band members started to come forward with their stories on social media of the horrible things that they said they went through. And then Bruce Harold sat down with the Daily Iowan where he said that he was really disappointed with how the investigation was handled and that he doesn't know if he wants to play the Cy-Hawk game going forward until they can make sure it's safe for students, athletes, fans, everyone. And then we thought...
Can I ask you just real quick, couple questions about the band gate and where we're at here? Because like you said, the University of Iowa had a statement. The athletic director at Iowa State, Pollard, said this is pretty vague. I don't know what they're talking about. Then they released a joint statement that, hey, we're going to look into this. And then, like you said, it became a dead issue. Like, we're no longer going to look into this. That's when the band said that we don't feel the university really has our back. So all the allegations have come out since then. It really turns kind of weird because it feels like every time, there's allegations, Iowa State seems to answer with, but when we go there, they do the same thing to us. And that's...
It's definitely like the way the fans have responded to it.
Okay.
But I think it's super important to note that Bruce Harold and Gary Barta both have said we are very much aware this is not an Iowa State issue. This is an Iowa State and an Iowa issue. This actually happens all over the country. This is not an isolated incident. It's just the magnitude of this game and the severity of what happened to the band members has made it such a big deal.
Do you believe, because the governor has come out and said that she does not believe that the Cy-Hawk series should end, which, again, okay. What are your thoughts on the Cy-Hawk, about the idea of them maybe canceling the Cy-Hawk rivalry?
I don't see any way where that rivalry is canceled. I think that it's just kind of a damage control strategy right now, which I can't blame the university for taking that avenue because it really was handled super poorly. And if what the band is saying happened is true, some terrible things happened. But I don't foresee any way that this game doesn't continue. It's very good for the state. Iowa wants it. Even though their fans say they don't want it, they want it. Iowa State wants it. And Bruce Harold was, even though he said that I don't know if I want to play this game going forward. He says the thing he wants to play this game. He just wants to get all of these like outside issues fixed before he can be okay with playing that game. And I think that's going to happen. I don't think there's any way that Iowa State, you and I sit down and they can't come up with ways to make the athletes and the students and the fans of their games feel safe.
Lucy, my question here is, do you know, is there any footage? Is there anything where they can catch the culprits? I mean, any video cameras, anything around where they could figure out who was at fault for what did happen? I'm just going to go with the fact that I believe the band.
Yeah, no, that's I think is the most interesting aspect about this is there has, from what I've heard, there are like security cameras at Jack Trice in the area where it happened. I haven't seen the footage. I saw on Twitter that someone released it, but you couldn't see anything from it. I haven't watched it, so I don't know. But no, there has not been any footage, and that's something that Bruce Harold and Gary Barta and the Ames Police Department have been really adamant about. If you have any video, if you've got something on your cell phone, if there's anything that you can do to help shed light in this investigation, please do it, because that's been the biggest issue, is there really just isn't any evidence right now.
That's the thing that is, and you bring up a good point by saying it's intriguing. You're looking at 150 members of a band. You're looking at 250 plus Iowa State fans and 4 security guards and not any single footage. I mean, I can't sing Come On Eileen on a Saturday night at a bar at karaoke without having 3 people put a video in front of me. It's insane that there's no video.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing I'm confused about too. I mean, I completely believe the band members and the horrors they've been saying. It's just you hate to hear it. It's so, I mean, can't believe that stuff happened to them. But it's just so hard for me to kind of fathom how there is no video of this anywhere. Mm-hmm. And if it is, no one's sharing it.
No, Lucy, if Jade was quoting those numbers correctly, 4 security guards. I'm not a smart man, but I do have a nice Waterloo, Iowa education in my belt. And I mean, I can tell you right now how we solved this issue at both universities. When whether it's Iowa State visiting Iowa or Iowa visiting Iowa State, we up the security that's around the band, and we make sure that this doesn't happen again. I mean, that there's how you solve it. I mean, I'm not a president of the university or anything like that, but there's the issue. If we know something's happening, we need to make sure the kids are safe. I mean, the band's there to entertain, and if they're playing an instrument, they can't necessarily watch if someone's throwing something at them. I heard beer cans possibly were thrown, things like that. I mean, that's what you need. You just need up the security. They're making enough money off the game. They can afford it.
No, I completely agree with that, too. And I think that President Harold said that they would meet probably after football season, but possibly even during the season, to figure out ways to up that security. And I think they're all going to come to the common consensus that that's something that just needs to be done.
And does it sound to you too, Lucy, like, I mean, whether it's Iowa students or whether it's Iowa State students, it's a couple morons, maybe a handful of morons out there doing something stupid?
100%. Like I mean, and it's one of those things that Iowa fans love them, but they're so ignorant to think that the same thing doesn't happen at Kinnick Stadium when the Iowa State fan comes into town. Maybe not to the severity that we saw this time, but this happens at every sporting event across the country. There are always fans from every program who they just get so trash, they just don't know how to act, and they do really stupid and dumb and horrible things like this. And it's so hard to prevent because 95% of the people at this game are here to watch the game, and they know how to act appropriately. It's just that small group of people you have to worry about.
I mean, I know it happens in Iowa. I went to an Iowa-Illinois game with my friend. It's an Illinois fan. I'm an Iowa fan. He's wearing his shirt. I'm wearing my shirt. And some dumb kid walks up to him and just like gets in his face. I basically told him, get the hell out of here. What's wrong with you? But it happens. I mean, that is, and it's absolutely right. And it's always, it is. It's like one idiot.
Okay, Lucy. And then in the past 20 hours, we've got this story coming out of Des Moines, of Carson King, Busch Light, all this stuff. What you're studying? Tell me again what you're majoring in at the University of Iowa.
Journalism and sports studies.
Well, isn't this great? I mean, this is a great thing to have in your classes right now to be kind of talking about, isn't it? What like, how do they teach you about the type of thing that the reporter, going in this deep on the tweets of 8 years and how it went about? Like, can you kind of give us like, what do they at school? Do they say like, hey, yeah, sometimes you're gonna have to come up with things and you're gonna have to report on them?
Yeah, so Iowa requires that you take a class on media ethics, and the big thing that is in journalism that they preach to us here is to don't cause unnecessary harm. Report what's needed to be reported, and that it is a case by case scenario. Though there is no like black or white answer on whether you say something that could be potentially damaging to someone's reputation. It's something that you have to look at the scenario and say, does the public need to know this? Does this cause harm? Is it unnecessary harm?
Okay, Lucy, in your opinion, is this the reporting of the tweets from 8 years ago? Is this unnecessary harm?
I believe it is. It doesn't change anything. I don't think that anyone donated that money to Carson King and saw, oh my God, when he was 16 years old, he tweeted a racist joke from a comedy show. I want to take my money back. Like, that was not, I don't think that went through anybody's mind. And it was just kind of one of those things where the reporter did their job in finding out the information. But I think that, in my personal opinion, that the Register made the wrong call in sharing that information.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I don't think a single person, well, I can't say a single person, but the majority isn't saying, I wish I could take back my donation to his Venmo account over something he wrote 8 years ago. And it really was quoting something. It was just a 16-year-old kid being a 16-year-old kid. And I think we've all kind of pointed out that we're more concerned about the man that he is now at 24 than what he did, dumb thing he wrote on social media at 16. So I just wonder, I just wonder what they teach you in there. And I didn't know that the mandatory class and the unnecessary harm that you talk about. That's good to know, because we often wonder, why do they print this? Why do they go to the lengths to do these things? Why create this harm? I mean, plenty of people have said that all they had to do was get a hold of him and just say like, hey man, you might want to go back on your Twitter and clean some things up.
Yeah, I mean, it does. I wish I knew they released that statement about what their process was. I just kind of disagree with the decision that it was something that they needed to be printed. I don't believe it did.
Mm-hmm. Well, all right. So real quick, how are things been going since you made the video?
Oh, pretty cool. It's neat to walk around campus and be recognized now. It's definitely a weird feeling.
Ah, that's cool. So they all did, and
if it wasn't for Carson King, you've been the most popular person in Iowa. Dang him.
He can happily take the title. We love Carson King. Carson King takes first place any day. I'll be happy with second.
Lucy, I want to thank you for your time today and talking with us. We appreciate it. We know you're busy, and
thanks for your insight too, Lucy.
Yeah, good luck on everything
Thanks
up there
so
at the
much
University of
for having
Iowa.
me.
Yep, we'll be in touch soon. Take care, okay?
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Lucy. All right, that's Lucy Rodine, a student at the University of Iowa. She did the video where she went to the Ames campus before the Iowa State game and, interviewed some students and kind of, just to play a goof on them. And that's the type of lighthearted things that we want out of this. What she said is true. There are some horrific allegations coming from the band. It really does. There are some weird things where it is Iowa says something, Iowa State comes back and says like, yeah, but like there's a quote. There's a quote where they're like, the band left in the northwest area of Jack Trice after they were told to use like the northeast. Like it's almost like, do you know where I'm getting at here?
Yeah.
It's almost someone that says like,
blaming
hey, I was
the victim?
Yes, there you go. Yes. That's what I'm getting at. It's almost like, well, what did you see what she was wearing? That type of weird. It's not right.
That's all Twitter and all this is anyway. When you say something, and the counter argument, yeah, but it's always a yeah, but. That's what I said. Just wipe these apps. Get rid of them. Be done with it.
I want to thank Lucy for her time. She's a journalism student. And telling
Very interesting what she said.
paper of the state. And she says it's her opinion, it's unnecessary harm. And they take a class.
Yeah.
Do you need to report this? Is it going to create unnecessary harm? What do you think, T-Ray?
It created all kinds of
And
unnecessary
Serge?
harm.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, they knew that when they did it, it was creating harm. Come on, man.
There's an
At the end of the
ethics
day,
involved.
at the end of the day, who did it harm more, Carson or the kid that reported it?
Yeah. Well,
I'm gonna tell you right now, the kid that reported it, is losing his job today.
the kid is reported losing his job today.
That's a fact. Carson King's gonna go down still as a hero.
Yeah. People, yeah.
That stood up and did the right thing when he knew he did something wrong.
The thing is, the big loser in this is the Des Moines Register, 100%.
Yeah, I Register lost too.
Yeah. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we have Bobby Metcalf from the Quad City Times, QC Varsity, in studio with us. We'll talk to him more about unnecessary harm.
Just don't harm me, Bobby.
Did you get done with the jog, Bobby? All right.
All right, guys. Remember, every Monday through Friday, Pints is proud to have Vans complimentary pizza free during happy hour at 5 o'clock. So make sure you get on there and have it while it lasts. And if you're out on a Sunday just farting around, check into Pints for the Sunday Fun Day. They have 2 50 20-ounce domestic drafts, $3 you call it, and live music from 6 to 9. They supply the party, you supply the fun. This week, our buddy Big Undies, Dougie Brundies, will be playing on the party. So come into Pints, 5268 Utica Ridge Road in Davenport, and check it out.
This is Ella Schmidt, the 106-pounder for Bettendorf, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
ESPN 1170 AM.
So you're what they call an industrial athlete, but this ain't no gym. You're working hard. You got the right tools to get the job done? Would you play football and roller skates? I don't think so. So if your gear is beat up, tore up, all around mucked up, come on in and boot up at Quad City Safety, 5311 Tremont Avenue, Davenport. Or check us out at quadcitysafety.com.
When storm damage hits, All Major Restorations is your insurance claim specialist. Loose or missing shingles, dented siding, or damaged windows. All Major Restorations of the Quad Cities works with your insurance company, making the process quick and easy. The insurance company has people fighting for them. Let All Major Restorations work for you. Residential, commercial, and industrial. There's a reason they have an A+ accredited Better Business Bureau rating. Storm damage estimates are always free. Visit amrestorations.com. All Major Restorations of the Quad Cities.
Oh, excuse me?
Yes?
Is your apartment empty?
No, all my stuff's there.
Like what?
My big screen TV, computer, iPod, etc.
Are you sure?
I think so.
Because your landlord's property insurance doesn't cover those things from fire, vandalism, and theft.
Oh.
But if you had renter's insurance, they'd be covered.
I gotta go back home. I think I left my oven on or something.
Protect your possessions with renter's insurance. Contact Jorgensen Insurance in the Quad Cities. Online at jorgenseninsurance.com.
Online sports betting is here with EliteSportsbook.com. If you are an active Rhythm City Casino Resort Club member, go to EliteSportsbook.com now and follow the prompts to start betting. Not a Resort Club member? Visit Rhythm City to join today. Bet with Elite Sportsbook at Rhythm City Casino Resort or online now. More ways to get in the game with EliteSportsbook.com and Rhythm City Casino Resort. Must be 21. Gambling a problem? Call 1-800-BETS-OFF.
The best dollar-for-dollar pre-owned value in the Quad Cities. It's yours at the McGrath Used Car Superstore of Davenport. On the phone, Gavin McGrath.
You've heard football teams called a powerhouse. That's the McGrath Used Car Superstore. Unbeatable value.
Take it away, Coach.
You start with selection and savings. Over 2,500 quality pre-owned vehicles. Payments from $167 a month. Shop the Quad Cities' best selection of certified used trucks from $10,988.
The experts say it's the best used truck buy you can make.
Great lineup, great value. Pre-owned Silverados, Sierras, Rams, F-150s. Certified used trucks from $10,988.
The McGrath Used Car Superstore of Davenport makes it easy to trade.
We trade for anything, regardless of mileage or age. And you're going to get top dollar. But no firearms or spouses, please.
But what about someone who's fumbled their credit?
All credit applications accepted. Nobody works harder than our credit team to help get you approved.
Unbeatable. The McGrath Used Car Superstore of Davenport, 4618 North Brady Street. Log on McGrathAuto.com.
When you want to hear about Chicago Bears football, you can right here. Don't hassle us. We're local. Noon till 2 on the Quad Cities Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
All right, everybody, we are back here in the Hassle Castle, brought to you by Dunright Satellite and Dish, and you're listening to Don't Hassle Us Local on AM 1170. Bobby Metcalf is in studio. He's happy. His Bears are coming off a Monday night victory.
Despite their quarterback looking like garbage.
Yes.
And Bobby always bringing the truth.
Everyone was like, oh, Trubisky's, that was great progress. Yeah, except the fact that he missed, he underthrew a fade route and missed a wide open Anthony Miller and missed a wide open David Montgomery. And
Thank you.
Defense looked good, though.
Every throw from the pocket, he looked terrible. Yeah, the throw he made to Taylor Gabriel, that's a highlight level throw. That's a throw that you'd see Mahomes or Rodgers or those guys make, but then he misses the wide open, easy.
No, that was the lowest percentage, the lowest
Rating.
possible percentage for that to be a completion so far of the year in the NFL. It was like the next gen stats had that at like.
It was an amazing throw. I'm saying that play is up there with anything you'd see Mahomes or Rodgers do.
Yeah.
But then he misses the
It
routine.
wasn't a good ball.
He almost missed. Was it
But he
Gabriel? He almost missed in the end zone when he was by himself.
I mean,
Yes.
Gabriel,
When he was scrambling, he was
well,
looking,
because,
and then-
because he probably could have ran that in himself.
Yeah.
Or he could have thrown it to his receiver. It took him 5 minutes to see Taylor Gabriel wide open in the end zone.
Well, it felt like it.
But
Yeah,
I'm not
it
as
did.
I'm not as mad as Bobby because the guy went 25 for 31.
There you go.
Okay, I know the passes that he missed were big ones, and that you need to be better about that.
I'm sorry. What? Name me another quarterback who underthrows a fade route.
I'm not gonna be mad at 25 for 31 out of Mitch Trubisky with our defense. I'll be happy with that.
Should have been 35 points.
Should have been 31 for 31.
I'm just saying it. Because Trubisky underthrew that pass, all of a sudden it became a game.
Right.
It was, the backdoor cover was starting to.
You know, I've been listening to 670 for the last couple of days, and they've been going, "Oh, that was great progress. That's what we want to see from Mitch." And I was like, "Really? No. He had one good quarter."
Yeah, no. I don't agree with the 670. How was you said you were up in Comanche on Friday?
Yeah.
How was that?
It was overtime, 40-37 game. There were 10 turnovers, so.
Oh my!
It was an interesting game.
Okay. I was up at. Did you get any weather?
No.
None. Okay. I was at Tuval for the Bettendorf Cedar Falls game.
Yeah, I saw you got lightning delayed.
I did, yeah, and I got out of there.
You almost got struck.
I swear I was going to get struck by lightning.
That would have been the first time something that small to the ground got struck by lightning.
Well, it was close. It was coming for me.
Just stand by anybody else. They'll attract the lightning.
It was coming.
Anybody else.
It was coming. Anybody in the planet. It was coming. Obviously, we talked about, you're on a jog, but we've been talking about the whole Carson King, the Des Moines Register, Anheuser-Busch thing coming through. We talked to Lucy Rodine from the University of Iowa. She's a student there. And one of the things they talked about, and you took your journalism classes, she was talking about unnecessary harm and that the ethics that they take at the University of Iowa. Where do you feel, where do you stand on this? Because this is why you know these things. You've been through this. And there's certain things that, to report, you have to report. You have to take personal feelings out of it. Where do you stand on the thing that happened in the last 20 hours?
I don't think we should be condemning a kid for what he tweeted out when he was 16, but I also don't think we should be giving him a free pass because he was 16 when he tweeted it out.
Okay.
That's how I feel. I mean, I do. I mean, I think, Busch Light dropping sponsorship and everything's coming out, and people saying all this sort of stuff is. It's over the top, but then again,
what should we have done instead then?
I don't.
I mean, I don't know if you have any ideas.
His responses and everything. Look, he's clearly matured. He's clearly grown up. And I'm not,
right.
But what's the cutoff for tweeting racist things? Is it 17? If you're 17 years old and do it, you don't get a free pass. If you're 18, I mean, I'm not saying that we should condemn the kid. He's clearly grown up. He's clearly matured. I mean, his actions have shown that. But just to say, well, he was 16 when he tweeted, so we shouldn't even regard it.
Now, before you came in, Bobby, I had thrown out the thing of this. I mean, you have to be 21 to drive or to drink. You have to be such an age to drive a car. All these age limits put on things. I mean, I think we're to the point now with social media and kids. You need to put an age limit on this.
Yeah, good luck with
there
that.
is. It's just too low.
Good luck with it. Just do it.
How?
I mean, how? When they change the drinking age from 18 to 21, you do it.
How are you going to monitor social media when it's on everyone's phones?
You can figure a
Don't
way.
get a phone.
Well,
figure a way.
yes. I mean, it's
on
not.
the parents. The same thing with violent video
Right.
games. You know.
Yeah.
But you can do it. It can happen.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I mean,
look. Like I said, I understand the people who are going, "Oh, this is ridiculous," but you know, and then how dare the register unearth these things? And yes, it's really bad when the reporter who put that up there
I think
then has his own.
the more of the.
But again,
that's
like,
a lot more of the issue than anything.
I don't know. I don't know what I. Okay, I didn't have social media when I was 16, so I don't know what I would have put out there. I don't know what I have put out there before I was hired in this job. You maybe could go back and dig up some stuff on me. What I'd hope you'd look at is the person I am now.
Well, that's what exactly, and that's what.
But
we're
that does,
saying.
but I also don't think you should just overlook anything that somebody's put out there because of what age they were.
I'm not. The age isn't that. How's that? The
Dude, when we were 16,
8 years a person can change, and what he's written in between. Do you know what I'm saying? He's matured, and the same thing. You want to say the same thing about this Aaron guy, Aaron Calvin. But the problem is when people are pulling up his old tweets and they're like, "This was in the last year."
Yeah.
And
I'm not excusing Aaron Calvin.
No, I'm not either. I think we're having a conversation, and that's really what this show is we'd have this conversation, Bobby, you and I, regardless. We had microphones in front of us. You know that. We talk about these things. I just think it's weird of like the Des Moines Register for saying like this is protocol. We find these things, but they didn't do the same background check for their employee.
Look, it looks bad when their employee has the same exact problem but it is also
almost a worse problem.
Well, people saying they shouldn't have put that in the story or they should have informed him. Well, they did inform him. I mean, he's the one who posted. He the one who made the statement after they told him that they found these things. And like it is. I mean, the journalism part is just has to tell the whole story. It's part of the kids. Yeah, he's the one who came out and issued a.
Or was it Bush Light that did? See, that's where I can't figure out the timeline.
Carson King came out and issued. They told Carson King. The Des Moines Register told Carson King, "Hey, we found these tweets,
and it's going to publication.
And it's going to publication." And so he came out and issued a statement.
And he stole their clicks.
Well, okay.
Basically,
Whatever.
you know what I'm
like,
saying, but yeah.
I mean.
So
it's part of the story. It's part of the story. The fact that he grew up since then.
Yeah.
That he's clearly he's grown up and he was doing some really he was doing a selfless act. I mean, that's part of the story.
I think the one thing that we just keep coming back to though is the Des Moines Register, the timeline of what they're saying that put out there. When they're saying we have nothing to do with Bush Light. Bush Light pulled their stuff in response to the Carson King press conference, but it's clearly not true. The timeline doesn't match up.
Well,
somebody at the register leaked it to Bush.
I'm not sure you can say that. Bush pulled it after his statement, right?
No,
they pulled it during the day. His statement was at 7 at night. They contacted him roughly sometime around.
Maybe
2:15.
Bush did their own vetting. I mean,
maybe I don't know. You would think they did it within the 10 days that they agreed to do this.
Maybe they decided. I mean, I don't
maybe
know,
they decided it was way too much money to donate.
Again, obviously,
it's very true.
Obviously, Carson King is a different issue than like the athletes, but I don't get. I mean, it's like everyone's going back to the pro athlete tweets, and you dig up these old pro athlete tweets, and I don't get why we excuse those. They're pro athletes; they should have somebody cleansing their social media accounts.
I think we said that within the first 20 minutes. I said, guys, every year we go to a NFL draft, and the day after the draft, someone pulls up somebody. I mean, and then they have to give it. MLB had it too.
Look, I haven't seen the social media posts. I don't know exactly what they said. I saw the descriptions of both of them. They're bad.
Yeah. You're
talking about Carson Kings.
Yeah, Carson Kings.
Yeah.
Have you seen Aaron Calvin's?
Yes, I have. I'm not excusing Aaron Calvin.
I know you're not excusing him, but we said it here. I kind of agreed with these guys too. I think his are way worse.
Well, again,
I mean, neither one of them
Carson
are okay.
King's
Neither one of them are right. But I think way worse. And yes, it does matter.
From what I understand, I did read the Carson King ones last night, and boy, it was late, and it was referencing something from Tosh.0 that said something about black mothers or something.
The story that I read, and I don't. I mean, I'm not trying to be offensive. I'm just trying to. But the story they said the one post compared black mothers to gorillas.
Okay,
and
yes,
the other
that's
one
what
was making light of black people who were killed in the Holocaust. And I'm sorry, I don't care if you're 16 or not. I was 16 and I would never have.
No,
I mean, come on. So people saying that he was 16, he should get a pass. Sorry.
And I just want to know, like, when that came out on Tosh.0, why the hell was it not a big deal then?
Because nobody watches Tosh.0.
Well, there's a good point. Very good point. But I'm saying when
more people than have Des Moines Register subscriptions. That's for damn sure.
Well, I'm just saying, but when it came out then, why the hell wasn't that a big deal then too?
I don't know, because it was 8 years ago and culture's changed since then, and
I don't
everything's
think it's changed that much. That's pretty dumb.
You know what? Maybe it did. Maybe it just didn't catch on. I don't know.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, to me,
Tosh.0 wasn't raising millions of dollars for
right.
University
But
of Austin.
both those statements to me are insane to make.
But that's
even,
but
even 20 years ago.
But that's my thing.
30 years ago.
Is that you see all these people saying, "Oh, I'm glad I didn't have social media when I was 16," and oh man, I couldn't imagine. Like, but would you have posted those things when you were 16? I don't think I would have ever posted anything about making light of people anyone being killed in the Holocaust. I don't care the race. Like, so, but again, I don't think that the response is correct, because again, I think you can look at what he's done and the person he's become, and there can be nuance to both of it. You can say he's clearly not the same person he was 16 or when he was 16. Clearly he's matured, but we can't just overlook and give him a free pass because he happened to do it.
Who's asking to give him a free pass, though? That's what
all these people.
I think we're using that term way too loosely. Free pass? We're not saying give him a free pass. He's raising millions of dollars for sick children.
Well, all these people who are saying, well, I'm glad I didn't have social media when I was 16, or man, we're going back and we're digging up tweets from 8 years ago. Like, come on, people. Like, I've seen that a ton on Twitter.
Right.
And that's what it is. I mean, it's like, so we're going to go dig up tweets from eight years ago. Well, okay, yes, if they're that offensive.
Right. And he wasn't defending them, and they were also not his own words. So I know he was like I said, posting them on his accounts.
As I said, the level of response, the condemnation that's come from, whether it's Bush Light or whoever, is over the top. Clearly the guy is matured. Clearly he's he's grown up.
My kind of thing is
I'd like to hear, and to be honest, I'd like to hear an African American response on this. Every single person I've seen has been white.
Well, I saw one African American lady on Twitter.
I did too.
I haven't.
And I mean, I was saying I did see her response, and her thing was kind of along the lines of what you said earlier. Seems to me like the young man's grown. I'm not too concerned about what this child did or what this man did when he was a child. I'm concerned about what this man did when he was a man. And it was along those lines, if I remember the one correctly. Now, the one that gets me is the reporter himself. Another reporter that knew him from high school, she went onto her Twitter, and I'll quote it. She says, "Woke up this morning, came here for impeachment gifts. Instead, found out the guy who bullied me in high school and called me a bitch after I got the job he wanted. I was 15. Has decided to hold others accountable for what they did at 16. Hashtag Aaron Calvin said a lot worse at 16.
So my thing is, look, with everybody, some of these are overreactions, some of these are underreactions. We're pointing in the wrong direction of how we should be handling these things. In the end, it's who's it really affecting. And the big thing is so anybody that wants to do anything nice in America the rest of their lives, if they did one thing wrong years ago, 2 years ago, 8 years ago, 10 years ago, you know what? I better not do this nice thing right now for the rest of my life because I did one wrong thing years ago.
Scrub your account.
Yep, can't do it. Can't do it anymore because you know what? It's just everyone just wants to ruin everything good anymore that is out there. So you know what? Why even do it?
But that's the thing, is I think there has to be nuance in it. I mean, and people are bashing the Register for reporting on it. Well, I mean, but that is their job.
I'm bashing them for the lies about it. They're lying that it's standard practice to go back 8 years. Because if that's standard practice, it should be also standard practice for their hiring. That's my bashing, Bobby.
Yeah, I
you know what I'm saying. I would feel the same way.
I'm talking about the reporting.
I would feel the same way. You're a friend. If we found out that you or Koss or whatever else that when the Times hired you guys, that one of you were doing something stupid, and then if it was that, I'd be like, you know what, you should have done your due diligence on Bobby or Matt. You know what I'm saying? And I know I'm not saying that you guys are that way or you would do it, but I would feel the same way.
Yeah, that part they look bad on, the fact that the reporter.
Yeah, and I think that's where
my point is, people are saying, "How dare the Des Moines Register report this?" And I think that's their job.
I mean, when we talked to Lucy had
you can make an editorial choice not to, but then you're not telling the whole story.
Lucy had the point though in her journalism class where they asked, "Does it do undue harm?"
Yeah, unnecessary harm.
Unnecessary harm.
Well, as they said though, when the editorial board meeting was, isn't it our duty to let people know if they're going to donate? The whole thing about who this person is they're donating to.
And what our argument was, does that stop anybody from donating? This is what a 16-year-old said on his Twitter 8 years ago. I know, dude, it's debatable. I mean, we can argue that point all day.
Again, like I said, he wasn't quoting rap lyrics. He wasn't, whether or not he was
quoting a comedian allegedly.
It's still incredibly
if that guy's
offensive.
a comedian, is that an alleged comedian? I don't even know who the dude is.
You don't know who Daniel Tosh is?
No.
Okay.
That's my favorite part.
I really don't.
I just want to know what age is it no longer acceptable to tweet these things out? If 16's okay.
No,
because
Bobby,
he was
it's not
16.
okay.
But people are saying,
okay.
well, people are giving him a pass
but
because he was 16.
someone when he was 16 should have been pointing this out to him at 16.
Somebody should have.
Yeah.
Way before that.
Way
said
before
that,
now.
But that's just my issue with it.
No.
Is that people are saying, well, he was 16 and we shouldn't be paying attention to what he was doing with 16.
Well, we should be
Well,
teaching
it's like-
both these kids tolerance.
You can teach them so much more. All right. First things first. We talked about tolerance, and that ignorance like this is something that is learned. It's not inherited. All right. You learn this type of behavior. 2, you teach that your words mean something, written or verbal. They mean something, and you represent them.
Hide behind your phone screen, whatever it is. They're still accountable.
My son is just in 2nd grade. He did like terrible on this like reading assignment that he had to write things on. He didn't understand why I was upset about his writing, but I said, you were lazy. This represents your own thoughts. You're the only person on this planet that has these thoughts. Use them. I don't care if it's pen, paper, or verbal. Use them the right way. They're yours. And that's the thing. He's using someone else's, but they're still his thoughts because he wrote it down. Quote or whatnot. Even when you retweet something, you have now represented that. Yeah. And that's why I take careful consideration. If I retweet something, I'm like, okay, well said. I wish I would have said it.
I usually
Not
just
that-
retweet you two.
Not that.
You and Bobby, that's it.
Not like things like, not things like, things that are like, oh my God, that's hilarious. And then they come back because I'm like, it's not worth my time.
I'm with you. There's people on Twitter I'm worried to retweet because I don't know their background. I'm like, well, you look at their bio, that doesn't tell you anything.
I'll tell you what they should be doing, and when I was in grade school, middle school, whatever, I don't remember what year it was. I mean, we had to take computer classes and and internet classes because the internet was fairly new at that point. I don't know if they still do it at that. They probably don't anymore because it's such a thing. But they should do social media classes in high school.
Absolutely,
high school or
they should.
grade school or middle school or wherever. Have it be a semester of social media classes. Like,
Well, this social media thing blew up so fast, but we figured that social media is, in essence, only about 11 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, the whole thing, and it's.
Yeah.
I hate social media.
I'm with you.
hate
I
it.
wholeheartedly.
I use it for work, but I hate it.
We agree, and we made an entire show out of it. And I mean, probably from day one, him and I have talked about it, and Surge too, where we've been like, social media. What we like to point out when something good happens, and this happened to be a story where we're like, hey, look how the social media blew up, and this kid did this,